A percent represents a fraction out of 100. So we can simply look at the percentage sign at the back of a number as meaning out of 100. Therefore, 50% means 50 out of 100. 4% means 4 out of 100. And if we understand this, we can therefore easily convert a percent into a fraction. We'll demonstrate this with a few examples. If a percent represents a fraction out of 100, it's very easy to change a percent, into a fraction. Here's an example. If you're asked to convert 50% into a fraction in lowest terms, we recognize that this sign here represents 50 out of 100. So I can write 50% as 50 out of 100. Here's my fraction. And from here, I can simplify my fraction as much as I can. 15 to 50 goes 1 time. 15 to 100 goes 2 times. Therefore, 50% is the same thing as a fraction a half. Here's another example. 8%, convert 8% into a fraction in lowest terms. Again, remember that the percentage sign means out of 100. Therefore, 8% can be written as 8 out of 100. And again, from there, I can cancel as much as I can. Recognize that both 8 and 100 can be divided by 4. 8 divided by 4 gives me 2. 100 divided by 4 gives me 25. Therefore, 8% is the same thing as the fraction 2 out of 25, or 2 over 25. Here's a nice example. 0.3%. Change 0.3% into a fraction in lowest terms. Again, whatever appears in front of my percentage sign, it means this thing is out of 100. Therefore, 0.3% means 0.3 over 100. Now, to get this as a complete fraction, I recognize that I have a decimal up here. To get this decimal to be a whole number, I need to multiply by 10, or simply move my point 1 space to the right. If I do that, the 0.3 becomes a 3. If I move my point 1 space to the right in the numerator to keep the problem the same, I would do exactly the same thing in the denominator. Remember, your point is at the back of the 100, so therefore I move it 1 space to the right and I end up with an empty spot here. In this empty spot here, I will put in a 0. Therefore, the 100 becomes 1,000. Therefore, 0.3% is exactly the same thing as 3 out of 1,000. One more interesting example. 0.5%. Convert 0.5% into a fraction in lowest terms. Some students could get confused and believe that this is already a fraction. It's a fraction as a percent, but we need to get that fraction here, this percentage fraction, to be a fraction by itself with no percentage sign behind. Remember again, the percentage sign means whatever you have in front of the percentage sign, put it out of 100. Therefore, 1 over 2 out of 100. This means 1 over 2 divided by 100. Remember, this means divide. So 1/2 divided by 100. I could write it this way to feel a little bit more comfortable. 1/2 divided by 100 over 1. Remember, in our fractions, what happened? In our fractions, if we have a division sign, our division sign can simply change into a multiplication sign, and the fraction immediately behind gets inverted or flipped upside down. Therefore, this can be rewritten as 1 over 2 times 1 over 100. And from there, I work it out. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 100 is 200. Therefore, 0.5% is exactly the same thing as the fraction 1 over 200. Therefore, we can take percents and convert percents into fractions.